In Mario Kart DS, we got the addition of retro tracks. And to this day, it's one of the best things that the Mario Kart team has added. I mean, who doesn't love going back to an old Mario Kart track to see it's remade in Mario Kart 8's graphics, and sometimes they even remake the track layout to make the track even better, and add new gimmicks and stuff. Unfortunately, there's some retro tracks that don't live up to the hype of the original track. And in today's top 10, we'll be looking at the top 10 worst Mario Kart retro tracks. In this list, we'll only be looking at the retro tracks, which are obvious downgrades from the original. So although I hate GBA Mario Circuit, it is technically better than the original, although that's not saying much, so it didn't make it onto the list. The only exception to this rule is if they remade a track without adding anything noteworthy to it. This rule is mainly here because of Mario Kart Wii. And lastly, none of the Super Circuit retro tracks will be added to this list. Now let's go. I can see a lot of people would disagree with my first choice, but at number 10 we have Wii's Coconut Mall from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. This was the third appearance of Coconut Mall. After we first saw it in Mario Kart Wii, it got added as a retro track in Mario Kart 7. And then 11 years later, it got added to the first wave of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Pass. It's been 11 years since they remade this track, and there's still problems that the Mario Kart 7 version had that the Mario Kart Wii version didn't. First, where did the Mii posters go? That was like the best part of the Mario Kart Wii version. And okay, I get the 3DS is less powerful than the Wii, but the Switch is like 10 times more powerful than the Wii, and you didn't include them again? But okay, that's kind of understandable. But what's not understandable is why do we still have those arrows on the escalators? Nintendo, I'm not blind, I can tell which way the escalators are going. A big problem I have with this version that the 7 version didn't have is what happened to the cars. Okay, first, why are there Shy Guys in the cars instead of Mii's like in 7 and Wii? If I'm gonna get run over by a car, then I want Donald Trump to be driving it. Secondly, why is there no boost panels? And thirdly, why do the cars just randomly drive in the circles instead of the pattern they did in 7 and Wii? In Wii and 7, there was a risk factor because you wanted to get the boost panels, but you didn't want to get run over by the cars. But in this version, the cars serve no risk at all. And get this, the cars didn't even move at all when the track got first added into this game. They only added it for Wave 2. I mean, look, if you like this track, I understand. It is still Coconut Mall, and Coconut Mall is a great track, but there's so much missed opportunity with this course. Mario Kart DS was the first game to include retro tracks, and honestly a lot of them are fun. Unfortunately, however, the DS is less powerful than the GameCube, so pretty much all the Mario Kart Double Dash tracks suck in this game. One of the most disappointing remakes is Mushroom Bridge. I love the original Mushroom Bridge, and I think it's because of all the alternate paths you can take. So who at Nintendo decided to bring this track back but to get rid of all the alternate paths? Get this, there were 4 alternate paths you could take in the GameCube version, and only one of them remains in the DS version. You can't go onto the sidewalk, or go to that random pipe to get an item box. And most disappointing of all, you can't drive on top of the bridge. Luckily, however, they did keep this shortcut in the DS version. Something they didn't keep, though, is those mushroom cars that give you mushrooms. Very disappointing. Okay, yes, it is kind of unfair to include this track on the list, considering the DS is way more underpowered than the GameCube is. But then why would they port this track to the DS if they know they had to take out most of the features that the GameCube version had? There's a scrap version of GCM Mario Circuit still left in this game. I mean, that track would have worked pretty well in this game, but I guess the last mission in this game's mission mode is meeting a wiggle on this course, so that's something, I guess. And we're back at Mario Kart 8 with a remake of one of my favorite tracks, N64 Rainbow Road. But this track cannot keep the hype that the original had. Firstly, let's get the biggest issue out of the way. This track is way too short. And this is dumb because the original was way too long. In the Mario Kart 8 version, they made it 1 lap instead of 3, but come on, just make it 2 laps. You did that with Wario Coliseum on the GameCube. And there's a problem with this track, which a lot of the retro tracks in this game have, is that the music's awful. I mean, okay, it's pretty good, but it's nowhere near as good as the original. The music in Mario Kart 8 goes for a jazzy metal heavy vibe, which works for the Nitro tracks, but it doesn't work with a lot of the retro tracks, and this track really suffers for it. The final problem I have with this track is the background. Like, it's cool that it's over Toad's Harbor, but I like how in the original you were just randomly in space. But otherwise, this track is pretty good. The last 3 tracks were honestly pretty good, but the next retro tracks are not good at all. It was hard to pick any of the Mario Kart Wii tracks for this list, as they don't change that much from the original version. But a track with a very noticeable downgrade is N64's DK Pathway. I'm sorry Mario Kart 64 fans, but the original version of this track isn't good. And this version is as boring as the original. In fact, it's more boring, because in the original when you went off-road you get hit with coconuts until you got back onto the road, but that doesn't happen in the Wii version. Maybe that's a bit nitpicky, but that feature gave the original course a lot of charm. Also, I can't trick off that giant ramp, like seriously, do they want us not to have fun? Well, I guess it could be worse. Well, I don't know what Yoshi did for Nintendo to want to make such a bad course about him in Mario Kart DS. As long as Yoshi Falls doesn't return, I guess we can just ignore his existence. Wait, Yoshi Falls returned in Mario Kart Wii? Why? No, seriously, what was the point of that? Well, okay, before I start complaining about the course, let's talk about the layout. Yoshi Falls in Mario Kart DS is literally just a circle with a Yoshi egg in the middle. I mean, okay, there's some elevation and ramps, and you can take a shortcut through the waterfalls. But this track is super boring. But what did the Wii version do? They added boost panels and a few more trick ramps. It is still like the most boring track ever. Seriously, Mario Kart DS has some good tracks. You could have added Luigi's Mansion, or Airship Fortress, or I don't know, Waluigi Pinball. But no, you added a circle with a Yoshi egg in the middle. Very exciting. Honestly, I would be baffled if I found a course with a more boring layout than Yoshi's Falls. I'm pretty sure it's impossible. Well, I spoke too soon, because the NES Mario Circuit 3 is literally the most boring course ever created. Okay, at least it's not a circle this time, but it may as well be, because this track is just boring and annoying to play. But anyway, including the GBA version, this track has been remade 4 times, and nothing has changed. Literally, the only thing you could argue has changed about this course is it being in 3D. Like, come on, it's been 30 years since you created this course. Surely you could change something about it. But the worst version of this track has to be the Mario Kart 8 version, because they changed nothing about this course. I mean, look how much they changed about Donut Plains 3. That was a boring NES course, but now it's kind of fun. Why couldn't they do something like that with the NES Mario Circuit 3? And like, okay, they just ripped this track out of Tour, and this was a really early Tour track, but come on, couldn't you change anything about it? Surely you want some of the Tour players to go and play Mario Kart 8. And if you're not, then just add in a different course like Vanilla Lake or something. Or SNES Mario Circuit 2, because that's the best SNES course. I mean, I guess you could argue the Wii version is worse, because that version also doesn't change anything. Wait a moment, why did they change the cool boost panel in front of the finishing line? Now it's just a generic boost panel. Oh my god, literally unplayable. I want my money back. Come on, Nintendo. Can you believe that there are actually people that like NES Ghost Valley 2 for Mario Kart Wii? Like, actually, how do you like this course? It's actual garbage. Okay, this is kind of cheating, because this track does add stuff that the original version doesn't have, like a bunch of ramps. And also, you can also break the rules in this version, which I find doesn't really help me, it just stuffs me up more. Honestly, this track is pretty hard, and it's really annoying to play. It just feels wrong making a list of my least favorite retro tracks without including this track, because this course is actual garbage. But if you like this course, then whatever. But these next courses are actual garbage, and I don't see how anybody will like them. Okay, you're probably getting annoyed at me complaining about all these retro tracks. But there are a lot of good retro tracks, such as GBA from Bowser's Castle 3 from Mario Kart Wii. Oh, this is such a great course. I mean, the original's great and all, but the Wii version is so good. I mean, this track just works so well with Wii's physics. I mean, with the trick ramps and everything, and don't even get me started on the atmosphere. I mean, it's so cool. I mean, you're outside, you can see Bowser's castle and there's lava everywhere. I mean, it just works really well with Mario Kart Wii. But even in the original, the style of this track made it stand out from the 3 other Bowser's castles in this game. Yes, it was 3 for some reason. But as you can see, I really like the track. And when they announced Bowser's Castle 3 for Mario Kart 2, I was so excited. And then I played the track. And it's literally the most garbage Mario Kart Tour track ever. Like, people like to hate on this game, and people say that the microtransactions and loot boxes or whatever the worst part of this game, but that's not true. It's obviously what they did to this course, because this is an abomination. I mean, you're indoors, they just use the same backgrounds from Bowser's Castle too. Like, seriously. And okay, the layout is still the same, but come on, this track doesn't stand out anymore. So thank God they gave Bowser's Castle 4 a unique background. Well, whatever. But now for the time being, Sinest Bowser's Castle 3 is gonna be the true Bowser's Castle 3. Seriously, I can't wait to see that track in Mario Kart 8. It looks so good. You know, it's amazing to think how far the booster course pass has gone, because Wave 1 was awful with tracks like Sky Garden. I will never understand this track. Because even though this is a remake of a Game Boy Advance track, it is somehow less complex than that version. Like, how? I mean, this was the best track in Mario Kart Super Circuit, and the best retro track in Mario Kart DS, but they really dropped the ball hard with this track. Okay, let's start by comparing these mini-maps, because they're completely different. Like, at this point, just create a new Sky track. And that would be fine if the track was actually good, but this is just a monstrosity! Okay, let's look at some of these cool shortcuts from the GBA version. First off, we have these 3 paths. We of course have the normal path, but then we have this boost ramp that gets you an item box. And then there's another ramp that you can use a mushroom on to get ahead of the other races. That's cool, but this next shortcut might just be my favorite Mario Kart shortcut ever. I'm of course talking about this shortcut where you need to use your jump to bounce over these clouds. I mean, sure, this is completely broken, but it's so fun to do. These are the innovative shortcuts I want to see in a Mario Kart track. So what does the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe version bring to the table? One boring mushroom shortcut. Like, seriously, it's literally the most generic thing ever. But just overall, the layout of this track is so boring compared to the original. Like, how do they stuff this up so badly? But now I know why they added the arrows and the escalators in Coconut Wall. It's because the cloud textures are so bad that Nintendo expected people to go blind looking at them. Actually, you know what? The entire track looks so bad that it'll make you go blind. Outside of maybe the background, that's probably the best part about this track. And the music will make you go deaf. It's sad that the GBA and DS's sound quality wasn't good enough to make the original version sound very good. Well, the Switch has the potential to make this music sound really good. But no, they did not learn from N64 Rainbow Road, because this music has the same issue. This song does not sound good played on an electric guitar, but at least Tour's version sounds pretty good. And to finish this section off, I just need to mention one more thing. This stupid respawn point. Like, Lakitu can sometimes be more annoying than Jigglypuff. Like, come on. Look, anything I say about the DS version of GCM Baby Park has probably already been said 100 times, but this track is just awful. Not even a baby would find any enjoyment in this course. You know, I really like the Double Dash version, and that's probably because of how chaotic the track can get. Especially with those Bowser shells, but this track is just so boring. There's no excitement in it. And Nintendo knew this because they made this track 5 laps into the original 7. And look, I get this is on a DS, but the background looks so ugly. Nothing's 3D, but at least there's no baby Pink or Pete statue, so that's something, I guess. But anyway, if you like this video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're hyped for Wave 6, hit that bell for notifications. My next video will be about retro tracks, but this time exclusively about the Mario Kart 64 ones. And next time you play the new remake of Sunset Riders, just remember that it could be a lot worse.